Hello, and welcome back to my WIO page about world issues and the issues that affect us personally. Now, today I've decided to include a little bit about astrology and how astrology pretty much affects us, and to talk about a little bit about why we haven't incorporated it enough into our interests and issues that we experience in life. And the first book I want to open up with is a book that I read called Person to Person Astrology. And basically, it talks about how the planets affect us. Okay? There's one specific page I want to share with you, and that is this page right here. And pretty much it shows us on the scale where astrology lies. Now, at the top, we have mathematics, physics, chemistry, biochemistry, biology, medicine, and then we have astrology. And astrology is pretty factual. There's a lot of facts to astrology that people have forgotten to look at. Then we have psychology, anthropology, histology, and the list goes on, as you can see. Basically, what I want to explain here is that astrology is important. Astrology is something that we have eliminated out of our lives, and we've become ignorant to it. Astrology is real, people, and we really need to incorporate it in our lives. Because if we don't incorporate it into our lives, we're really missing out. We're missing out on education, knowledge. This is something I want to include in my readings, and I want people to understand that if you understand astrology, astrology is like any other subject, okay? Pretty much, if you are to understand astrology, astrology is like any other subject. We need to understand it. We need to understand where it's coming from. And if somebody was to ask me, why are you so passionate about astrology? I'm passionate about astrology because astrology is something that's helped me understand the people around me. Not only has it helped me to understand the people around me, it's helped me understand myself, and it's also helped me understand people and their attitudes and my relationships with people. So to move on from that, I'm going to start off by talking about the houses in astrology. I've written a diagram here about the houses. Each house is represented by a sign, a planet, constellation, and a house. House number 1 is ruled by Aries, which represents self. Then you have Taurus, which represents money. Gemini, which represents communication. The 4th house, Cancer, the moon, family. The 5th house is represented by Leo, which is entertainment and romance. Then you have the 6th house, which is service, ruled by Virgo. 7th house is Libra, partnership and business partners and marriage. 8th house is ruled by death, taxes, and anything involving the underworld. The 9th house represents foreign countries, education and travel, and expansion because it's ruled by Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system. Then we have Capricorn, our social status in the 10th house. 11th house represents our friends and our deepest desires. And the 12th house is spirituality. So that's pretty much an overview of the houses. Now, if you have any questions on the houses and how they work, Please feel free to email me or write me a message about that. Moving on to the next thing, I want to talk about horoscopes. Many people ask me, why is it that one day my horoscope is true and the next day it's not? Well, see, the thing is, we all have a rising sign. We don't only have one sign. Everybody thinks if I ask them what's their sign, they're going to tell me, okay, I'm a Leo, or I'm a Gemini, or I'm a Sagittarius. Pretty much, you need to understand that there's more than one sign. You have a rising sign, you have a sun sign, you have a Mercury sign, you have a Venus sign, and the list goes on. You have a Jupiter sign, you have a Pluto sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to slowly talk about some of these things because it's a lot of information. And a lot of the times astrologers get very technical about astrology, and I think it's very confusing and overwhelming if we don't understand what we're talking about. So in my previous discussion about, I talked about Pluto, I talked about Uranus, and I talked about Saturn. And pretty much these planets are at odds with each other's right now. They are experiencing squares. And the only way for us to understand this is if I explain to you what is going on through the houses. Now in my diagram here, I will show you that here Saturn is here, Uranus is here, and Pluto is here. Those are all 90-degree angles, and they create havoc for us. So basically, politicians are feeling very agitated with the economy. Not only are they feeling agitated with the economy, but the people, which are represented by Aquarius, are very frustrated now with governments, and they're frustrated with the things that the governments are doing because they're not doing anything to help. So we need to make a difference. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about each sign and the planets that represent the sign. And I'm going to go in more depth about how astrology is slowly going to help us, and if we understand astrology, we can move on and become a lot more wiser. So please stay tuned. I'd like to shout out people and say thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, and I want you to keep watching. And if you have any questions about what I'm talking about or you don't understand, please feel free to email me, write a comment, anything that I can help you out with. I would love to help you. I'm an astrologist. I read charts. I do horoscopes sometimes, but mainly I talk about transits that are happening. And I think the next video that I'm going to post, I'm going to be talking about the transits, because transits are very important. Transits are things that we personally go through. Now, I'm going through a transit right now. I'm going to admit I have Mars in my 12th house. It's a very hard transit that I'm going through right now, but because I understand astrology, it's a lot easier for me to go through it. See, when you know what you're going through, when you know that there's a roadblock in front of you and you know how to deal with it, it's a lot easier. So please take the time to learn more about astrology. I believe that it will help you because it's helped me, and I definitely want to see it help other people. So please stay tuned for my next video. I'm going to be talking about transits, the signs, and planets. Thanks.